Conditional sentences in English with Jennifer.
Welcome back. Let's go over the answers to the task from the first lesson. Are you ready? In part 1, I asked you to decide if each sentence is about a real or unreal situation. A. If you're not subscribed, you won't receive notification of my lessons. Real. This is about a very likely situation in the future. B. If the sun didn't rise one day, there would be panic. Unreal. Here, I'm just imagining a situation. It's an impossible or very unlikely future. Tomorrow, of course, the sun will rise. C. If you don't know how to use a word, you can look in a dictionary. Real. This is practical advice for an everyday situation. I'm speaking generally about the present. D. If I had skipped breakfast this morning, I would be very hungry right now. Unreal. Here, I'm imagining the past differently. If the past had been different, then something else would be different right now. So I'm talking about how the past influences the present. The situation is unreal, or what some would call counterfactual. E. If I have time later today, I'll practice a new song on the piano. Real. I'm talking about something that is possible or very likely to happen in the near future. How did you do in that first part? It's important to understand when people are talking about facts and real possibilities, and when people are just speaking hypothetically, meaning they're imagining a situation in a different way, different from reality. Now let's talk about part 2. Did you take time to think about your answers? A. I asked if both sentences are correct. The answer is yes, both are correct. When we make conditional sentences, we have two parts, a condition and a result. The result is the main idea or the main clause. The condition is a dependent clause. Together, they make a complex sentence. What's important to understand is that the result only happens when the condition is met. It doesn't matter which clause, which part comes first, but when we write, we need to pay attention to punctuation. Let's look at that second question. B. Is a comma needed when I write these sentences? No, a comma is only needed in the first sentence. When the if clause or condition is first, then we need a comma. Remember this rule because it will help you with pronunciation too. When the if clause is second, there's no pause in the middle of the sentence. Listen. You won't get notification of my lessons if you're not subscribed. I'll practice a new song on the piano if I have time later today. But when that if clause is first, there is a pause. You often hear a change in pitch at the end of that first clause. Listen to my intonation. You'll hear a pause in the middle between the two clauses. And the two clauses have different intonation patterns. If you're not subscribed, you won't get notification of my lessons. If I have time later today, I'll practice a new song on the piano. All right, now we're going to look at different types of conditionals, starting with real conditionals about the present. These are situations about habits, routines, facts, and general truths. Here's an example. If you climb a lot of stairs, you get out of breath and your legs begin to hurt. We all know this because it happens to all of us. Remember my bonus question in Lesson 1? I asked, what do you do if you forget someone's name? Here I was asking for advice. Real conditionals in the present can be for advice and instructions. Let's look at some of your answers to my question. I'm going to go on my computer.
Okay, Murat starts us off with his example. If I forget someone's name, I apologize and ask them to remind me. Good example, good approach. My question uses the present tense in both parts, in both clauses, and Murat uses the present tense in both parts, in both clauses. So if he forgets someone's name, he apologizes and asks them to remind him. Next, if I forget someone's name, I'll try to ask his or her friends. That's good advice too. This is correct, but it's making the situation seem like a likely possible situation in the future. So if we want to answer the question and keep this as a present factual conditional, let's change this to the present. If I forget someone's name, what do? I try. I try to ask his or her friends. Okay. Gabriel wrote when. When I forget someone's name, I usually call them friend or something like that. Buddy, right? Dude. Yes, that's a good strategy. Very clever. And I like that Gabriel actually chose to use when in his answer, not if. These are common situations, these are habits, and we can use when or if with very little difference in meaning. If I forget someone's name, when I forget someone's name, I usually call them friend or something like that. If I forgot someone's name, I'd ask somebody who remembers it. Yes, you could do that. But that would be an unreal situation. You're imagining the possibility. Let's change it to a real situation. If I forget someone's name, I ask somebody else who remembers it. If I forget someone's name, I ask them politely. That's good. I ask them politely to do what? To remind me. Or I ask them what their name is. Good, Susanna. All right, another idea. Let's go like this so we can separate it. If I forget someone's name, I will ask someone else to refresh my memory. Yes, you can do that. Again, that would be a real or likely situation in the future. Let's stick to the present for this exercise. What do you do when this happens in general? If I forget someone's name, I ask someone else to refresh my memory. If you'd like to see more of my corrections to student examples, then visit me on Facebook.
So real conditionals about the present, factual conditionals about the present, use the present tense in both clauses, the condition and the result. But you can also use modal verbs in the result clause. For example, can for ability or should for advice. If you forget someone's name, you can ask them politely to remind you. If you forget someone's name, you shouldn't be too embarrassed. Just apologize. You can also use imperatives in the result clause. If you forget someone's name, politely ask them to remind you. If you forget someone's name, don't be too embarrassed. And note with these real and factual conditionals, we can use when or whenever instead of if. The meaning doesn't really change. Perhaps the use of when more easily recognizes that these situations are common and they happen. Here are two examples. They're questions. What do you do if you get lost in an unfamiliar place? Or, what do you do when you get lost? what do you do if you don't have time for breakfast? Or what do you do when you don't have time for breakfast? Here are some answers to those questions from my Facebook page.
This post reached over 4,000 people and quite a lot of you posted your ideas. Let's look at just a few. Satish wrote, use a GPS, right? When you get lost, you can always use a GPS. And his second suggestion was to woof it down, eat it quickly. If I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually woof it down. Badya has a different suggestion. I usually take a sandwich when I don't have much time for breakfast. Marat suggested if you get lost in an unfamiliar place, you can always ask for directions. He wrote, if I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually eat a light snack. Andre answered the second question with a bit of humor. He wrote, if I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually grab some hot muffins, run downstairs, stumbling and shouting, which I like a wounded donkey. Naveen wrote, ask someone to direct you or use your GPS if and when you get lost in an unfamiliar place. And if I don't have much time for breakfast, she wrote, I have it at work or eat it on my way to work. Natalia wrote, rely on your intelligence, right? When you get lost, rely on your intelligence. If you get lost in an unfamiliar place, rely on your intelligence. She wrote, if I don't have much time for breakfast, I have it within a very short period of time. Raed wrote, if you get lost in an unfamiliar place, you can always ask people for the right directions. And if I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually take some sandwiches with me and eat them along the way. Well, that's just a suggestion. Or you skip breakfast, right? Nikki wrote, you can always use the GPS to help you with directions when you get lost or if you get lost. And if I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually have a cup of coffee instead. Janella wrote, if you get lost in an unfamiliar place, you can always use your smartphones to call your friends and ask for help. If I don't have much time for breakfast, I usually eat some chocolates to give me more energy at work. There are some wonderful responses here, and if you'd like to read more, please come to my Facebook page and check them out.
And note that many people often use then in the result clause. You don't have to, but you can. If I don't have time for breakfast, then I grab something and eat on my way to work. Are you ready for your next task? Finish my sentences. 1. If you're an optimist, it means you always... 2. If you're a pessimist, then you often... 3. I try to if I'm having a bad day. We'll go over your answers in the next lesson. Here's a bonus question you can answer in the comments. Recall a rule you had to follow at home or at school. I want you to write your example 2 ways, with the if clause first and then with the if clause second. Here's my example. I couldn't watch TV if my homework wasn't done. If I did all my homework, then I was allowed to watch TV. That's all for now. I'll see you again soon for our next lesson on conditionals. If you found this helpful, please remember to like this video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching and happy studies.
Remember to join me on Twitter for vocabulary practice. I'm there Monday through Friday. And if you follow me on Facebook, you can try different language tasks throughout the week. Join me in the English room on seymour.org. It's one more place for additional practice. And don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube.